Hi everybody, welcome to this new video for the GenAI Nerd channel. And in this video, I want to explain you how you can create your own agents in Microsoft Copilot. So nowadays, you have the functionality to create agents in Copilot, which is a bit the same thing as GPTs in ChatGPT. So in this video, I want to first show you in general how you can build agents, and then I will give two specific examples. So one example will be how you can create a digital disruption radar that also will automatically create PowerPoint presentations. And the second example will be an example how you can use and build an agent to create your personal CRM assistant. So let's get started. So when you want to build agents, you have to go here to the left-hand side, and then you can go to all agents, and here you can click on create an agent. And then we come into the mode where we can create our own agents. Now you will have two options, the describe option and the configure option. So in the describe option, you can actually describe which agents you want to build, and then step by step, Copilot will help you to create that agent. Now, I typically immediately use the configure agent, so where we can really configure ourselves the agent, because then you have a bit more control on what exactly happens. This is very similar to creating a GPT in ChatGPT. Yeah? So if you're used to creating GPTs in ChatGPT, this is exactly the same. So also here, you have to give your agent a name. You have to give it a small description of what the agent will do. And then here in instructions, you have to extensively describe what exactly the agent needs to do. So here we have to give the in-depth instructions. Then here we can add knowledge. Yeah? So here you can add files, you can add URLs that are kind of the knowledge base for this agent. So this is kind of the knowledge that the agents will have at its disposal, which you can upload, or you can use the cloud here. So that's how you can add agents. And you can also here explicitly stipulate whether or not what you have uploaded should be the only sources on which it should rely. Yeah? So if you want a very specific agent that will only rely on knowledge that you have inputted, you can enable this option. So then you're sure that it only will rely on that knowledge. And nicely today, we can even already enable capabilities. So for instance, if our agent needs to be able to create Word files or an Excel file or a PowerPoint file, we can actually enable this capability. And finally, we can also enable capability to create images. Yeah? So this is how we can build a prompt. So we need to give instructions, and then we have to indicate which capabilities we want to use for the agents. So this is overall how you can build an agent. So let me now show you two examples of agents that I have built. So one agent I have built is the Digital Disruptor Radar. And this is actually an agent that I built for my education where I talk about digital disruption. And so this is a radar that for a particular company or for a particular business unit can identify which potential digital disruption threats they are facing, what are specific companies that can represent this threat, and how the company could react to this threat. Yeah? So this is kind of an agent that needs to execute a number of steps. So let me briefly show you the instructions. Yeah? So here are the instructions. So I'm saying, as a digital disruption radar, your assist managers in identifying and responding to digital disruption. And here I explain the steps that it needs to do. Yeah, so it first needs to check the business model of the company itself, then identify the most significant digital disruption, then go to the internet and search for companies that might represent this disruption. Then it needs to discuss the options that the company will have to fight back the disruption. And finally, I already explicitly mentioned here that it should summarize the main conclusions into a PowerPoint. So these are the instructions that I've given. Now here, I do not provide background information. Yeah? So it mainly needs to rely on the internet to collect the necessary information. So I have not uploaded any files, but of course I have enabled this capability for creating PowerPoint presentations because that's the final output that I want to get. Yeah? So this is how I've created my digital disruptor agent. You see, you don't need to code or anything. You simply need to describe in depth what the agent needs to do. So now let me show you how it works. So now we can update the agent, And then I can start using the agent by means of prompting. So let us take a look how that looks like. So now I can go to the agent. So here is my digital disruptor radar. And now I can, for instance, say, please engage in a digital disruption analysis for WHU Otto-Beisheim School of Management. Yeah, so that's my school. So let's see how we get disrupted. I have some spelling mistakes, but that's not a problem. And now this digital disruptor radar will start executing the steps. Yeah? So it says, okay, let's begin doing the 5-step approach. So it's step 1, business model description. So now it gives a description of WHU, which seems to make a lot of sense. Then what are the potential digital threats here? AI-driven personalized learning platforms, yes. Virtual universities, yes. Even blockchain-based, that I don't know, but okay. Examples of disruptive companies, Coursera, of course. Google career certificates, yes, I think that's really a threat. And corporate learning platforms, indeed, especially for our executive education. That's kind of a threat for us. And here are the strategies that we can apply to deal with this disruption. So it's fight back, team up, escape. And finally, here it's saying, look, I can create a PowerPoint summary for you. And so now it has created a link to a downloadable PowerPoint slide. So let's click on that to see what has been created. So let's continue. And here we see already a first PowerPoint presentation for our disruptive analysis. And you see quite some layout here already that looks actually quite okay. Of course, this is not really in the template of my school, and I tried if I can incorporate in agents templates, but that did not really work. So that will really be the next step. But as you can see, actually already quite a nice slide of here the layout is not perfect, so that I need to further optimize, but then you can quickly start from this slide at the starting point and further optimize it with the designer here, or just making your own interventions. But at least I hope you see that now with agents and these capabilities, we can take a lot of steps in one single time. So let me show you now the second agent that I have developed that is more to create for you a personal CRM assistant. So here we have my network navigator agent. And so this is an agent where I have uploaded as a file with an overview of my connections on LinkedIn. Actually, if you go to LinkedIn and to your privacy settings, you can demand from LinkedIn that they send you a file with an overview of all your connections, especially in Europe, where because of GDPR reasons, this is necessary. So then you can get actually a document with an overview of all your connections. And so in this agent, I leverage this file to create a kind of CRM assistant for me. So let me show you the instructions. Yeah. So here it's the user will ask you a particular question. You should exclusively rely on the provided knowledge to answer the question. In order to answer the question, please follow these steps. Carefully screen the knowledge base, identify the most relevant people in the knowledge base to address the question of the user, rank the identified profiles in terms of relevance, and report the most relevant profiles. And so now I have uploaded a file. Yeah? So here I have a specific file called connections.txt. So this is my document with all my connections. And I have indicated that this should be the only source that it uses. Yeah? So in that way, I'm sure that when I ask a question, it only relies on this single source of truth. So again, let's take a look how this can work. So now let's update the agent briefly, and then we can start using the agent. So we go to the agent, and now, for instance, I can say, look, I'm looking for a person that can give a guest lecture in my course on digital transformation in the health industry. So let's press enter now. And so now this agent will go through the file that I've provided to search for some people, execute the steps that I identified. And indeed, I now get an overview of people that could be potential guest speakers in my course. Yes. And the good thing is here, although this is of course personalized information, I'm here in my fully secure, fully GDPR compliant Copilot environment, so that's perfectly okay here. And so this was a second example how with an agent you can actually build a personal CRM system relying on a specific file. So I hope that these examples can give you some inspiration to start building your own agents in Microsoft Copilot. So if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for your attention. Bye.